You think you're fighting the YouTube algorithm, but the real battle is with the mirror. Those first 10 uploads, they're not testing your content, they're testing your character. Because after 10 consistent uploads, you'll meet every version of yourself. The disciplined one, the doubtful one, the one who almost quit. Most creators think uploading builds a channel. What it really builds is you. So let's talk about what 10 consistent uploads will really teach you about success, resilience, and identity in this video. When I started YouTube, I promised myself 3 uploads a week, no excuses. By upload number 10, the analytics hadn't changed much, but I certainly had. I've now coached hundreds of creators through the same 10 upload challenge, and the transformation is always deeper than the numbers. Confidence scores rise, anxiety drops, clarity skyrockets, and it's because consistency isn't about calendars, it's about identity. So let's break down the 5 lessons your first 10 uploads will teach you, no matter what. Lesson number 1, you don't have a content problem, you have a consistency problem. You'll realize creativity was never the issue, commitment was, because no strategy works when it's applied inconsistently. Every idea works if you give it 10 chances to evolve, but most creators never do. They try once, get low views, and pivot, when what they really needed was repetition. The algorithm doesn't reward creativity, it rewards predictability, in you and in your audience. When you show up consistently, 2 things start to happen simultaneously. Number 1, your audience learns your rhythm. They start expecting you, same day, same energy, same time. That expectation builds trust, and trust builds momentum, because to your viewers, consistency equals reliability, which also equals authority. And number 2, you start trusting yourself again. Every time you keep your upload promise, you rebuild your self-trust, the foundation of confidence. You stop chasing motivation because you've built proof that you'll show up anyway. And this is why I tell my clients, don't track views, track streaks. Your streak is the scoreboard of your identity, because 10 uploads in a row means 10 reps of integrity, 10 moments where you didn't give up on yourself. One of my clients went from posting twice a month to once a week, same content quality, completely different results. Her watch time doubled, her inquiries tripled, and for the first time, she said, I actually feel like a creator. And that's the hidden ROI of consistency. You think you're training the algorithm, but you're really training your brain to believe you again. When you make one upload day sacred, you no longer are chasing creativity. You're creating certainty. So don't aim for perfect, aim for published, because every upload says something powerful to your audience and even louder to yourself. I follow through. And that is when YouTube stops being a guessing game and starts becoming a mirror of your discipline. So that was lesson number 1. So lesson number 2, your self-talk predicts your success. By upload number 4, you'll notice something interesting. Your biggest obstacle isn't the camera or the algorithm, it's the conversation happening inside your own head. You'll hear that inner voice whisper, I'm tired, it's not ready, no one's going to care, no one's even watching. And here's the truth, those moments don't mean you're not cut out for this. They mean you're becoming aware of how you've been talking to yourself all along. And most people never get far enough into consistency to hear that real inner dialogue. They quit before they notice it's the same script that stopped them in other areas of life too, in health, business, relationship, and goals. That's the gift of consistency. It doesn't just reveal your habits, it reveals your voice. The good news though, is you can retrain it. Hallelujah! Because the next time that critic shows up, don't negotiate, reframe. Replace I'll post when it's perfect with I'll post because I said I would. That one sentence, I said I'd publish, sounds small, but it's a pattern interrupt. You're choosing your commitment voice over your comfort voice. And every time you do, you rewire your belief system, because belief isn't built by mantras, it's built by micro proof. So I want you to try this. Keep a sticky note near your desk labeled proof list. Each time you upload, despite resistance, write 1 line. For example, posted even though I was tired. That list becomes your evidence bank. It's what you'll draw confidence from when motivation fades. I've had clients who started with crippling self-doubt turn into machines of momentum, not because their gear changed, but because their inner language did. Their inner dialogue changed. They learned to talk to themselves like the person they were trying to become, not the one they were trying to escape. And once your self-talk stabilizes, you'll notice a new layer of growth begins. You'll start to see feedback from comments, analytics, or clients, not as judgment, but as data. Because when your inner voice is solid, external noise loses its power. And that's how self-trust becomes unshakable. You stop being at war with your own mind and start operating like someone who leads with it. And that leads us to step number 3, which is feedback is a mirror, not a verdict. The first time you open your YouTube analytics, you feel something: pride, confusion, or panic. Maybe all 3 at the same time. You'll see numbers, click-through rates, retention, impressions, and immediately your brain will start labeling them as good or bad. But here's the truth. Analytics aren't judgment, they're reflection. They're a mirror showing you exactly how your message landed, not who you are. Most creators quit because they take feedback personally instead of professionally. They read one harsh comment and decide they're not cut out for this. Or they obsess over the metrics that don't matter, chasing vanity instead of value. But successful creators, they treat feedback like training data. They look at the mirror and say, interesting, that intro lost 40% of the people. How could I fix that next time? Oh, this thumbnail got double the clicks. Let's test more like it. They don't collapse under the data, they iterate through it. And that's why I say feedback isn't the finish line, it's your GPS. It tells you where you are, not where you're stuck. So here's how to master this. Pick one metric that matters: retention, watch time, click-through rate, you choose. Don't track 20 things. Track one until you can improve it on command. You'll learn faster, you'll stay focused, and you'll actually see progress. Number 2, watch for patterns, not perfection. Look at 5 to 10 uploads together. If 7 of them drop at the same moment, it's not bad content, it's a fixable pattern. Patterns reveal systems. Single numbers just reveal emotions. And tip number 3, improve one thing at a time. Shorten your intro, add a better hook, move your CTA earlier. Every upload is one micro experiment into mastery. Data-driven creators go 5 times faster than those who just plan content because they're learning from real-world evidence. Action is the fastest feedback loop on the planet. You can't think your way to clarity, you have to post your way to it. And the more you look at feedback through that lens as neutral information, the more powerful you become. Because when feedback stops being emotional, growth becomes inevitable. You stop asking, am I good enough? And you start asking, what's the next small improvement that I can make? And that's how professionals think, and that's why they win. And that leads me to lesson number 4. Discipline feels boring until it feeds you. By upload number 7, the excitement will fade. The dopamine rush of starting something new disappears. Your setup feels repetitive, your ideals feel ordinary, and you start wondering if anyone even cares about watching them. And that's the point where most creators stop. But that's also where real growth begins. The boredom phase is your growth zone, because boredom isn't a lack of progress, it's a lack of novelty. And mastery only begins when novelty ends. Think about it. Athletes run the same drills daily. Musicians play the same scales over and over, not because it's exciting, but because repetition rewires muscle memory. YouTube works the same way. Every script, every thumbnail, every upload is another rep in building your creative muscle. And the magic? At first, discipline feels restrictive, like rules holding you down, but over time it becomes liberating. When your filming process becomes second nature, your creativity finally has space to breathe. You stop fighting logistics and start playing with ideas. That's when things start to click. Your intros get sharper, your pacing improves, you speak more naturally on camera because you've built the reps to get there. And you realize this isn't boring, this is rhythm. And rhythm is the foundation of freedom. One of my clients said, I used to think consistency killed creativity, but now I see that it feeds it. When you remove the daily decision-making of what should I film, when should I post, you free up all the mental energy for deeper work. You stop running on adrenaline and you start operating on alignment. And that's why I tell my clients, let discipline carry you through the boredom until momentum carries you through the rest. Because when you hit that point where creating feels natural, not forced, you're no longer chasing motivation. You've built something better, momentum. And that's what makes you unstoppable. And that leads me to the final lesson, lesson number 5. You'll realize you've been becoming someone different. By the time you hit upload number 10, something subtle but powerful happens. You stop checking analytics every hour. You stop second guessing your niche. You stop wondering if people will like you. Because you've built something bigger than a channel. You've built self-respect. You realize consistency wasn't about growing an audience. It was about growing you. At first, YouTube feels like a performance. Every video feels like a test of your self-worth. But after 10 uploads, the performance fades, and what's left is presence. You no longer film to prove yourself. You film because it's who you are now. You stop asking, will this work? And you start saying, I work. That's not confidence, that's identity. This is where everything shifts. Discipline turns into self-trust. Effort turns into ease. And you start recognizing that your results were never waiting in a strategy. They were waiting in you becoming yourself. The fear that used to paralyze you becomes data. The resistance that used to stop you becomes fuel. You realize you're no longer chasing freedom. You're living it because you've proven you can lead yourself. When I look back at my own first 10 uploads, none of them were special. The lighting was bad, the titles were weak, the delivery was awkward, but they were proof that I could keep my promise to myself of 3 video uploads a week. Proof that I could act without applause. Proof that I could lead before I was ready. And that changed everything, not just in my channel, but in my business, my confidence, my entire life rhythm. Because once you've built that identity of someone who moves anyway, you become unstoppable in every area of your life. You stop needing the world's permission because you've already given it to yourself. And that's what the 10 upload challenge really is. It's not about metrics, it's about metamorphosis. 10 videos won't just build your channel, they'll rebuild your character. So when people ask, what's your YouTube strategy? You can say, I'm not chasing strategy. I'm becoming the kind of person who wins by showing up. And that's the true ROI of consistency. Not views, not subscribers, but self-leadership. And when you have that, every other result becomes inevitable. So if you've made it this far, you already know the 10 upload challenge isn't about algorithms. It's about becoming the kind of person who keeps promises. Your 10th video might not change your analytics overnight, but it will change your standard towards yourself. And that shift is permanent. Because once you've proven you can lead yourself, no one and nothing can take that from you. So here's your next move. Commit to your next 10 uploads. Use them as your mirror, your data, and your training ground. And when you hit that 10th video, go watch my next one, Done Beats Perfect Every Time. I'll show you how to carry this momentum into mastery. Use them as your mirror, your data, and your training ground. Now go out there and make your 10 videos and meet the version of yourself who never quits and never gives up. Thanks for watching. And if you want to learn more about how to structure your YouTube videos, check out this video next. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.